Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga LJ. My name is LJ, and for today's class we are working on the Ashtanga series. This is the number 2 video, and this is building from the first video that I put out last week. And so each Ashtanga flow will keep building on top of each of the classes over time. And it is recommended that you do the first video, especially if you're new to Ashtanga. You can do the first video several times until you're comfortable with it, that you find some sense of control with your breath, that you find a sense of flow going into Cobra, pushing back, transitioning through Child's Pose to Downward Dog, and stepping into the kneeling lunge, coming up to a high lunge. So when you find that sense of stability and flow in the first video, then I suggest you move on to the second video. So a lot of these first couple of videos we're building on strength and getting used to learning the poses, and it will just continue to deepen over time. I wanted to mention as well that in the yoga practice you'll notice there's a lot of repetition in the Ashtanga series, because we learn over time each of the postures, 72 postures, and then we just keep doing them over and over and over for several years or lifetimes. And so there's a lot of repetition, especially with the beginning, the Surya Namaskara salutations, which warms up the body, prepares the body for the practice. And there's a magic in this repetition. So a few things. For one thing, despite doing the same pose thousands of times, it's never the same. Because what we're doing is that we're doing the pose, we're finding the internal cues with the breath, and eventually all of the internal cues and the breath in the pose becomes one action. And we end up dropping into a place of center in a pose, which is a place of stillness, where we experience this state of joy and peace for a fleeting moment. And that's what the purpose is, and it takes many years to find this place. And so that's part of it. On top of that, with the repetition, from a genetics point of view, and this has been studied in peer-reviewed journals, is that it does not change our genetics, but because we're in a habitual, healthy pattern by engaging the breath and moving our bodies in a state of mindfulness and awareness that brings alignment within the body, which also influences our daily habits, how we eat and how we sleep and our interactions with people. Because what happens on the mat affects our mindset, our emotions, our spirit. And so all those aspects come into the practice. And over time, we improve as a human being. We find our sense of humanity. We realize the ego, and we try to distance ourselves from the ego more and find more a sense of our true self from a yogic philosophical way. And so it changes the way genes express themselves. And that gene expression does get passed on to the next generations, on top of it affecting your life. So don't be surprised that when you start practicing Ashtanga, your life starts to change, because you heighten your awareness and you realize that you need to bring yourself more into alignment with your Dharma. Your Dharma meaning your purpose, your own individual purpose in life. And this practice helps you to find that alignment. So as we find it within ourselves, we find it externally into our environments and the people we interact with and the type of work that we do and so forth. So that is the beauty of repetition of this practice. Another way I'll just touch on, because this is what I believe as well, is that it's like fractal patterns. Fractal patterns are repetitions of the same thing over and over and over. Similar to snowflakes. Snowflakes are billions of snowflakes. They're all entirely different, yet they're all the same. And this type of practice is the same thing. There's a certain geometry to Ashtanga. We are moving our bodies in very specific shapes with very specific internal awareness cues, and that are fractal patterns. And we're building it over time. And that does influence our chakras. Chakras are energy centers along the spine. And that translates into our lives as well. And we get that awareness with the repetition, because it's something that does take time to get into. All right, so moving on to our practice for today. We'll be doing Warrior One with the block. So for the first time, working Warrior One. We'll also do Urdhva Hastasana with the block as well to work on getting straight arms and finding the internal cues. So we're going to start seated in a comfortable, easy cross-legged pose. And we're going to give ourselves a moment here to draw the attention inwards, pratyahara, which is to withdraw your senses into the body. And we're releasing the external world. We are traveling into the universe inside ourselves. Quieting the mind. And we're going to press evenly on the ischial bones, base of the pelvis, right side, left side ischial bones. Noticing the weight distribution and finding a place of equal, even weight between the two ischial bones. Then you're going to press into your ischial bones to lift your spine and lengthen the spine upwards, including your mid-back. As you drop the shoulder blades down and engage the core by softening your low ribs in. Pulling the chin down and back. Noticing the quality of your breath without changing anything. You're just noticing what your breath is like without, just as an observer. And we're going to start to do breath work together. We're all going to finish the exhale through the nose. And we're going to inhale through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. So engaging with the Ujjayi breath. Inhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Make sure the tongue is at the roof of the mouth. Exhaling through the nose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Finish your exhale. Slight pause. Inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Smooth exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 6. Inhaling for 6. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Smooth, even exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to keep going on your own. Same thing, try to lengthen the inhale and keep this even, smooth exhale, finishing the exhale. About 2 or 3 more rounds on your own. Noticing how the exhale draws your belly in. And when you inhale, your belly naturally puffs out when you inhale. All right, so we're slowly going to come up to standing. So like we did before, to come up to standing, we're going to keep our ankles crossed. two versions. First one, bring your hands in front of you. You're going to lean your chest forward. You're pressing into the pinky edges of your feet to lift your hips up and come to standing. You can also use blocks to help you if that's challenging. You can also use blocks in front of you. The next version is to bring your hands by the hips and lift up to standing, a little more challenging. All right, so we're gonna take a block in our hands, pressing our hands flat onto the sides of the blocks. Standing in Samastitihi. We're gonna ground the four corners of the feet. The toes are touching, heels slightly apart. Quadriceps lift the kneecaps. Neutral pelvis, pubic bone and tailbone pulling straight down towards the earth. Engaging the lower abdomen, drawing the low ribs down and in. Chin parallel to the floor, top of the head pulling up towards the sky. The shoulders now are pressing, we're pressing into the blocks, so the shoulders, it's a little challenging to pull them down and back right now. But any amount that you can, try to drop your shoulders down and back, even though you're pressing into the block. So as we lift the arms up halfway, pause. Make sure your arms are straight and draw your low ribs in. So keep your core engaged. Find all the Samastitihi internal actions I just mentioned. Don't lose them. And now we'll lift the block up. You can keep your gaze straight forward. Just lift the block up, straight arms. And then we're gonna drop the block down halfway. This time we're gonna engage the latissimus dorsi to pull the trapezius muscles down so we keep the shoulders as low as possible. So pressing into the block, arms straight ahead. Find your internal Samastitihi internal cues. Low ribs drawn in, press your four corners of the feet, lift your kneecaps. Press your hands into the block to activate the arms. As we lift the arms, low ribs in and engage the latissimus dorsi to pull the trapezius so the shoulders stay down and lift the block up. Stay up, keep pressing into your hands. Keep pulling the trapezius down with the latissimus dorsi. Low ribs in, find your core again. Triceps are pulling straight back. Keep holding, breathing in and out through the nose, Ujjayi breath. Exhaling, release all the way down. Quite challenging, even though it looks simple. So one more time, find your Samastitihi feet and legs, pelvis, low ribs. Lift the block up halfway, activate the arms. So from here, drop your shoulders as much as you can. Pull the triceps back, activate the arms, low ribs in. Engage your latissimus dorsi as you lift the arms up to drop the trapezius. Now pull your ears back, gaze to the block. Reach the block to the sky. Keep reaching the block up as you press your feet down. Keep the action. 2 more full inhales and exhales. And we're gonna release all the way down. Last time, and we're gonna move on. So finding your Samastitihi. Inhaling the block all the way up, gazing to the block. Another full breath here. And exhale, we're gonna release the block. Forward fold, bend your knees, drop your head down. Inhale, flat back, hands to shins, chest forward. Even weight in your feet here. Exhale, hands down. We're gonna step back to a high plank. So find your high plank. So the internal cues, heels pushing back, pressing your toe mounds evenly, low ribs in. Hands are pressing throughout the fingers and the index finger and thumb and the palms, not just on the wrist. And then we'll drop the knees down. So I mentioned previously, if you press into your wrist joint in plank and downward dog, you're gonna get wrist pain. So you have to distribute the weight throughout your hand and fingers. It's a common thing that happens for people who start yoga. So in knees down, low ribs in, we're going to cobra. Exhale, straight arms, bend the elbows midline, coming down to the floor for cobra. Wrist under elbows, press your feet, lift your kneecaps. Inhale, ears back, squeeze your elbows midline. Keep pressing your hands, transitioning through child's pose to downward dog. 5 breaths. Try to regulate every breath here, noticing the inhale and finishing the exhales. Getting into the habit of being aware of the breath. Last breath. We're going to look forward, finish the exhale. Inhale the feet to the top of the mat. Keep inhaling, hands to shins, flat back. Exhale, forward fold, bend your knees. Press your feet coming all the way up, arms up, palms together, Urdhva Hastasana. Find your Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, hands down, Samastitihi. With the block this time narrow, block, hands pressing. Inhaling to Urdhva Hastasana, gazing to the block, low ribs in. Press your feet, reach the block up to the sky as your latissimus dorsi, pull the trapezius down. Exhale, forward fold, head all the way down. Inhale, hands to shins, flat back, look forward. Exhale, hands to the floor, step back to a high plank. Finding the internal actions here, the cues for high plank. Feel stable, build strength. One more full breath. Inner thighs to sky, really strong legs. Drop the knees. Press your index finger and thumb, wide shoulders, external rotation of the upper arms. It feels like it is. Straight arms, exhaling to the floor for cobra. Press your hands, wrists under elbows. Lift your kneecaps, inhaling, elbows in, ears back. Press your hands, exhale, downward dog. 5 breaths. Listening to the breath. Feeling as though you can touch the breath with your body. Two more breaths, relaxing the head down, relax the mind. And we're going to finish the exhale and inhale the feet to the top of the mat to a flat back. Exhale, head down, forward fold. Press your feet coming all the way up, arms wide, finding your Urdhva Hastasana. Press your palms, gazing up. Exhaling, arms wide, Samastitihi. One more time with the block. Flat block, hands on either side of the block. Inhaling Urdhva Hastasana. Gazing up, press the block. Low ribs in as you reach the block to the sky. Exhale, forward fold, dropping the head down. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, hands down, step back to a high plank. 2 breaths in the high plank. Finding even weight between your hands and feet. Looking forward, head up. Drop the knees down, exhaling to cobra. Press your hands, inhale, head up, cobra. Exhale, push your hands back to downward dog. 5 breaths. So the knees can stay bent. Just keep pushing your hips back as far as you can. Eventually the heels will come towards the floor in time with practice. One more full breath. And we're going to finish the exhale, inhaling the feet to the top of the mat. Coming halfway, hands to shins, flat back, looking forward. Exhale, forward fold, drop the head down. Press your feet, coming all the way up, hands over the head to Urdhva Hastasana. Press your palms, finding those internal cues, extra breath. Exhaling, arms down, Samastitihi. Moving on to Virabhadrasana B modified. So we're going to reach for the block for Utkatasana, pressing into the block. So inhaling into Utkatasana, drop the weight in your heels, gazing up. Exhale, drop the block, forward fold, head down. Inhale, flat back, hands to shins, look forward. Exhale, hands down, stepping back to a high plank. 2 breaths in the high plank. Shoulders back, heels pushing back. We'll drop the knees, going to cobra, exhaling, elbows midline. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, push back to downward dog. From here, we're going to step the right foot forward. Take a block with you. Rest the block on your front right knee. So the alignment is heel to heel alignment for Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana A. The back toes are turned in about 30 degrees. They're turned in slightly. We're squaring the hips and shoulders to the front. So find the right distance with your feet. It's usually about the distance of your wrists. When you bring your arms out, it's about the distance where your wrists are. Squaring to the front with the block and getting comfortable with Warrior 1 with your feet. And straighten the front leg. Now feel the weight in your back foot. So the weight in the back foot is even as the weight in the front foot. So don't put all your weight on the front leg. It evenly has to distribute in the back leg. Block in front of us. We're going to bend the right knee, hold. Lift your hip bones, and we'll pull it back again, straight legs. Last time, bend your front knee, finding square hips and shoulders. And then we're going to lift the block up, gazing up to the block. Press your hands, similar to Urdhva Hastasana arms here. And exhale, block down, hands down, stepping back to a plank. We're not holding here, just drop your knees, going down for cobra. Inhale, head up for cobra, knees off the floor. Exhale, pushing back to downward dog. The left foot's gonna step forward, reach for the block. So warrior on the left side, Warrior 1. Bring your back heel in. Finding your heel to heel alignment. You can even pull your wrist out to find the right distance with your legs. Holding on to the block, bending that left knee over the ankle, squaring your hips and shoulders to the front. And then we're going to pull the left knee straight back. Find the weight in your back leg and bend the left knee over the ankle. 2 more times, pull the left knee back, straight legs. and bend the left knee. Last time, straight legs. And we'll bend the left knee, lift your hip bones, wrapping the right hip forward. Really press the back right thigh back and lift the block up for warrior one, gazing to the block. So find your Urdhva Hastasana arms. So use your latissimus dorsi to pull the top of the shoulders down as you lift your arms up. Soften the low ribs in, ears back to keep the neck lengthening. And we'll exhale, block down, hands down, step back to a plank. We're not going to hold here. Drop your knees, exhaling to cobra, all the way down to the floor. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, push back, downward dog, 5 breaths. So coming back to a place of balance here. Keep pushing the hips back, straight arms. Pull the triceps back to find straight arms. Make sure to distribute the weight throughout your fingertips and hands, not just on your wrist. Last breath here. We're going to finish the exhale and then step the feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, flat back, hands to shin bones, lengthen chest forward. Exhale, forward fold, head down. Press your feet. So we're going to come to Utkatasana, chair pose with the block. So reach for the block, hands press into the block. Weight into the heels. Find straight arms. And then slowly keep pressing your feet as you come all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. And then exhale, Samastitihi, release the block. So this time we're going to do 2 more Virabhadasana B variations. We're just going to step straight into warrior one as we go forward. Utkatasana, arms up, shoulder width. Gaze up, inhaling. Exhale, forward fold, drop the head down. Inhale, halfway, hands to shins, flat back, straight legs. Exhale, hands down, step back to a high plank. We're not going to hold here. Just drop the knees and going to the cobra all the way down to the floor, exhaling. Inhale to cobra, ears back. Squeeze the elbows in. Push the hands to downward dog, exhaling. Inhale, warrior one. Right foot steps to the right thumb. Hands down. Find your feet and your legs. So heel to heel, back toes are turned in. Once you found your feet and your legs, hands down, we'll lift the hands up with the block. Gazing up. And exhale the block down. Keep coming all the way down, step back to a high plank. Drop the knees, cobra. Inhaling, head back. Exhale to downward dog. The left foot's gonna step forward so your feet go right into warrior one. The back heel turns in as you step your left foot forward. Grab the block. When you're stable, grab the block. Inhale, lift, gazing up. Find a low core, low ribs in, core engaged. Drop your shoulders as you pull the hands up to the sky. Lengthen the back of the neck. And we're gonna exhale, hands down, step back to a high plank. Dropping the knees. Going down for cobra, exhaling. Inhale, head back. Exhale, back to downward dog. 5 breaths. So relaxing into this pose. Don't stress. Notice your thoughts about how you're judging yourself, whether or not that's happening, and trying to stay compassionate. We try not to judge, we're observers, compassionate observers. 2 more breaths. We're going to finish the exhale and step the feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, flat back, hands to shins. Exhale, forward fold, drop the head down. Bend the knees for Utkatasana, reach for the block. Hold, straight arms, gaze to the block, gaze up. Keep pressing your feet as you come all the way up. Find your Urdhva Hastasana here with the block. Exhale, Samastitihi, release the block. Last one. Utkatasana, arms shoulder width, inhaling, gaze up. Release, drop your hips down. Squeeze your knees together. Exhale, forward fold, drop the head down. Inhale, flat back, hands to shins. Exhale, hands down, step back to a high plank. Dropping the knees, going all the way to the floor for cobra, exhaling. Inhale for cobra. Exhale back to downward dog. Turn your left heel in, step the right foot forward for warrior 1. Find the distance with your feet. Square your hips and shoulders to the front. Reach for the block when you're stable. Block in front of you. And then inhaling to warrior 1. Lengthen the neck back. Reach the block to the sky as you press your feet down, lift your hip bones. Exhaling the block down, hands to the floor, step back to a high plank. Drop the knees all the way down for cobra to the floor. Inhale, head up. Exhale, push the hips back to downward dog. Turn the right heel in, the left foot's gonna step forward near the left thumb. Find your warrior 1. The distance with your feet, press into your feet, find your legs, and reach for the block. Find your breath. Squaring the hips, so wrap the right hip forward. Inhaling to warrior 1 on the left side. Low ribs in, engage the lower abdomen. Engage the latissimus dorsi on the back to drop the shoulders, reach the block up to the sky. And exhaling all the way down, left foot back to plank. Drop your knees, coming all the way to the floor. Wrists under elbows, cobra. Inhaling. Exhale, downward dog. 5 breaths. Noticing where your mind and emotions have been for this round. And trying to stay compassionate. Staying gentle. Two more full breaths. Finishing the exhale, and we'll inhale to step forward, coming to the flat back, chest forward. Exhale, drop the head, forward fold. Bend the knees, Utkatasana with the block. Gazing up, drop the weight into the heels, press your knees together. And slowly pressing all the way up, find Urdhva Hastasana. Core, reach the block higher as you drop, as you engage latissimus dorsi. And release. All right, so moving on, we're gonna take a vinyasa to seated. So just from straight legs. Inhale, arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Palms together, gazing up. 2 more breaths here. Straight arms, pull the triceps back. Find your even weight in the feet, pressing down. Exhale, forward fold, drop the head down. Inhale, hands to shins, flat back. Exhale, hands down, step back to the high plank. We're just gonna hold high plank 2 breaths before going to downward dog. So pushing the heels back, inner thighs to sky, really strong legs. Shoulders back, look forward, head up, and we'll push back to downward dog. So like we did on the previous video, we're going to step forward. So the right foot's gonna come forward, left ankle behind the right ankle. And from here, you can drop your hips down or bring your hands by the hips. Keep your hips lifted, don't drop your hips. Bring your legs straight out in front of you. Press your hands, lift your hips, and then drop your hips down. Coming to Dandasana. Hands by the hips. Since we have blocks, let's use blocks for Dandasana today, and it will deepen the awareness with the hands pressing down. So feet together, toes are flexed. Thighs pressing down, knees pressing down. Press your hands into the blocks. Chin slightly down. Pull the shoulder blades down the back. Breathing 5 breaths, gazing down the bridge of the nose for the drishti. And releasing. So moving towards Paschimottanasana. There's 3 variations. We're going to do all 3. If you can't do one of them, just stick with the first variation. So first variation, peace fingers grab the big toes. Now you may not be able to grab your feet yet. If not, just keep your hands on the floor and do all 3 variations with your hands on the floor. Otherwise, or you can use a strap as well. Otherwise, peace fingers to your big toes. Press your thighs down. Inhale, open the chest, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold, drop your forehead down. So eventually the forehead will come down to the legs for 5 breaths. Pull on your big toes with your peace fingers, and as you pull the shoulders down and away from the ears. The heart is shining forward, keeping the legs very active. One more full breath. And we're going to inhale, head up, gaze up. Exhale, hands around on the big pinky toe side of the feet. Inhale, head up, open the chest. Exhale, press your thumbs into the big toes as the rest of your fingers pull your pinky toes towards you for this forward fold, dropping the head down. Shoulders pulling down the back as the heart pulls forward. Pressing the back of your hips down to the floor. Breathing it. So full breaths here. In these sitting postures, the breath really flushes through the body. Two more breaths. We're going to inhale, head up, lengthen. Exhale, see if you can grab your fingers around your feet or maybe your wrist. Otherwise, just keep with the previous pose, hands around the feet. So trying to eventually grab the opposite wrist around your feet. Inhale, head up, lengthen. Exhale, drop the head down. You can also just grab the tips of your fingers. That's okay too. Last breath. We're going to inhale, head up. Exhale, release the pose. So moving to the vinyasa, so we jump back between every seated posture, we jump back to reset the body. So we're going to cross the ankles. Option to bring the hands in front of you to come up, or the hands by the sides. You're going to come up, lift your hips, step back to a plank. And then drop your knees, going all the way down to the floor for cobra. Inhaling, head up. Exhaling back to downward dog. Going back to seated. So bring the right foot forward like we did previously. Left ankle behind your right ankle. Dropping the hips down. You can try to bring the hands by the hips. Extend the legs, hips come down last. And we're moving towards Urdhva. We did a modification last week. We'll do it again with the blocks today. This will help to deepen the cues in the body. So blocks come flat behind us about 6 to 8 inches. And the fingers turn forward and pressing palms flat onto the blocks. We're going to bend the knees and bring your feet where your knees were. Hip width. Feet are pressing flat into the floor. Top of shoulders rolling forward. When you're ready, we're going to come up on the inhale. Lift your hips up. Chin can stay to your chest, or option to drop your head back. And just breathe into that front body. Let the breath move through the front of the body. Noticing if it stops anywhere. Lifting your hip bones. One more full breath. If your head is back, bring your chin to your chest. And we're slowly going to drop the hips down. So going for another vinyasa. We're going to cross the legs like we did. Cross your ankles. Hands in front of the hips or in front of you. So whichever version you feel is comfortable for you right now. You're going to lean forward, press the pinky edges of your feet, and step back to a high plank. Drop the knees, coming all the way down for cobra. And then exhaling back to downward dog. So this time we're going to step the left foot forward first. We've been doing the right foot for a few times. So bring your left foot forward first, and then your right ankle behind your left ankle. Coming down the same way, it just may feel different. And come to seated. So we're going to come onto the back for a bridge. We'll do 3 bridge poses. So we'll take a moment to bring the feet in, hip width. Fingertips reaching for your heels. And make sure that your feet are facing forward, toes are facing straight ahead. And when you're ready, press your feet down, lift your hips, And we're gonna walk the shoulders in. So the shoulder blades are gonna come in towards the spine and interlace the hands. Keep walking your shoulder blades in towards the spine. Press the top of your arms, forearms, wrist, hands down into the floor as you lift your hip bones to the ceiling. You're pressing evenly in the four corners of each foot. And notice what's happening to your breath. Chin is away from the chest to protect your neck. And we're going to release the hands and slowly come down. Just taking a pause, we'll do 2 more. Traditionally, there's usually 3 back bends. So we're going to come back up. When you're ready, interlace your hands, walk your shoulders in. Keep inhaling up for 5 breaths. Pushing your knees away from you, so knees forward as you lift your hip bones. See if you can bring your low ribs down and in slightly. One more full breath. And release the hands. We're going to come back down to the floor. Take a moment. Last one. When you're ready, press your feet, interlace the hands, and coming back up. Maybe go a little deeper. See if your shoulders will come in a little bit deeper into the back, which will open your chest more. Try to drop your low ribs to engage the core. Two more breaths. And slowly come down. We'll stay here for a couple breaths. Let your knees fall in towards each other. Just allowing the breath to regulate again. And we're going to come up for the counter pose. So slowly coming up, which is Paschimottanasana, for the forward fold we did previously. So find the legs straight out in front of you. Activate the legs, flex the feet. And coming into your favorite forward fold. About 8 breaths. Relax the face and the jaw. Going deeper inside the whole body with the breath. So we're slowing down the breath to cool down the body, giving the body a chance to recuperate itself after such an active practice. And this is good habit and activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is a system responsible for the internal vital organs, the functioning of our internal organs. So we're going to come up and go to Tadaga Mudra, which is traditionally a posture after the forward fold. We come onto the back. The feet are active, so point your toes. Palms are flat to the floor, eyes stay open. And we're just staying here for 10 breaths. Staying active to slow down the breath. Because we want the body to come back to a place of homeostasis, a place of balance. 2 more full breaths, long inhales and exhales. We're going to finish the exhale, drawing your low ribs in. And we're going to come up for a vinyasa, last vinyasa. Cross your ankles the other way. So if you've been bringing your right foot on top, bring your left foot on top. Hands by the sides, lift your hips up. Step back to a high plank. Drop your knees, exhale all the way to the floor for cobra. Inhale. Exhale, push back to downward dog. And going to step forward again on the left side. So left foot forward first, and then your right foot. Drop your hips. Try to keep your hips off the floor if you can. And coming down for Baddha Padmasana. So easy cross-legged pose. We're gonna cross the wrists behind the backs like we did in the previous class. And we're pulling the shoulder blades together. It feels like you're pulling your elbows together as well. And we're gonna sit here for 8 breaths before going down for Yoga Mudra. So chin is down and slightly back. Allow yourself to go deeper inside the body. One more full breath. And we're going to drop the head forward, keeping your hands where they are. Head towards the floor, any amount, 8 breaths. Your hips will naturally come off the floor, that's okay. Feeling the whole body. Two more breaths. And we're gonna come up and lie down for Shavasana for about 3 minutes. Coming down, palms to the sky. Shoulders come into the back. Release the Ujjayi breath. And surrender to gravity, to life itself. Learning to let go. Bring the awareness back into the space, wiggling your fingers and your toes. Inhaling the hands over the head. And turning onto a side. Take a pause. And slowly coming up to seated. In an easy cross-legged pose, hands on your knees. We'll chant Om Shanti 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 to close the class together. So we'll bring the hands to Namaskar Mudra at the chest, thumbs touching the chest. You're going to finish your exhale and then inhaling for Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the class and that this was beneficial for your Ashtanga journey. Please leave any comments or questions. I'll be happy to hear from you. And I'll see you next time.